All right, Saturday, March 13th, and we've got the wiring wizard here.
Oh, this is my better looking side.
The wizard of wiring. So,
my
good.
Wiring side.
That's your wiring side?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. So we're going to try to figure out the rest of the connections for pretty much the engine bay connections up to the fuse box and up to the relays. And under the steering column, all the connections need to be done as well. And probably the center plinth needs to have a look at, like the ignition switch connections anyway. We're going to try to pretty much focus on the front of the car. I'm not too concerned about the rear of the car. I don't have the taillights in anyway. The gas fuel sender is already hooked up, and that's really just a pigtail plug into the main harness once we get up to the front of the car. So we'll just concentrate on the front of the car, figure out what needs to be run. We're going to probably be running some relays for headlights, driving lights, the electric fan, and a few other things along the way. So we'll take a little bit of video as necessary. Right?
Sure. You don't have Alexa?
I don't. I have Alexa right there.
Helene, pause.
Exactly.
Okay. And you don't have a chair here?
A what? A chair? No, I'm on a milk crate with a piece of foam.
So now you have to actually work. You can't sleep.
It's really, I can't go to sleep, can't take a nap. Jeez.
Too bad. Next time bring it to my garage and we're gonna work there so you can take a nap. Anyways guys, so while he's digging out for connectors there, I'm gonna do a little bit rewiring here on the original harness, because let me show you a little bit about the original schematic of the car and how it is a little bit dangerously designed. So you see all these three wires going to the solenoid. So this is the solenoid for the starter, and you see how we have power, permanent power, going to the solenoid, and then the solenoid is sending to the starter. But also here we have the two brown wires and the brown with red that go to different locations. Like for example, this one goes directly to the fuse box, and the other brown goes to the ammeter, and the brown with red goes to the alternator regulator. All these three wires are not fused. Like this side of the circuit here is not fused at all. The wire going to the alternator is not fused at all, and this long wire that goes basically from here, it goes in, goes around, and goes over there to the fuse box. This whole part of the circuit, this is what happens. This is what happened because this circuit is not fused. Something was shortening and the wire overheated. Good thing you still have a car, it's not burned down. So that's why what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a fuse here on, where am I? Here. We're gonna put a fuse right here on this terminal on the starter solenoid, which is this, it's dark there. So normally these go here, the two of them together, even though I don't see how this small terminal was going here because it doesn't fit, but that's how it is on the schematic. They are hooked up together, so we're gonna hook them up together too, and we're not gonna connect them directly, we're gonna connect them through a fuse. So we're gonna put this terminal fuse here, we're gonna put this terminal fuse here, and then we're gonna connect those. We're gonna cut this terminal off, and we're gonna put this one, and then we're gonna connect them through this fuse, which is 100 amp. We know it is way too much, but we're gonna put it there temporarily, and then once everything is hooked up, we're gonna measure with our meter, and we will see how much everything draws. We're gonna turn we're gonna turn all the lights on, and then we're gonna measure how much it draws, and then we're gonna put the appropriate fuse there, probably 30 amp or 40 amp, we're gonna see. So that's what we're gonna do.
I'm just gonna point out here that Ellen gave me a very difficult job. You know, it's all this wiring he can't tackle by himself, so I'm gonna make a new ground wire for my wiper motor. So that's the job I've been given. That attaches back here, apparently. So go ahead and we'll make a new ground.
Okay, we're gonna have to make a seamless video here because cheftush refuses to edit out my bloopers. So we're gonna have to make it really clear.
That's right. One shot wonder.
Okay, if I make a mistake, I have to reshoot the whole video.
That's exactly right. You got to start from the beginning until you get it right. So sometimes I take, 10 takes before I get something right.
Take your time editing and shoot just once, edit after that.
Straight from the camera up.
Okay.
No editing.
Then it's gonna be a long video.
Oh.
Alright, so there was something really confusing here for me because cheftush insisted that both the battery wire and the starter wire were connected to the same terminal here of the solenoid, which for me was impossible, because if that's the case, then your car is gonna crank all the time, the starter is gonna crank continuously. But then he brought pictures from when he took the car apart, and that was correct, which...
And I must say, so how long ago did I take this car apart?
Oh, 17 years, 18 years?
My memory's pretty good, right?
Yeah,
I remember what was connected and what wasn't.
Okay.
There you go.
I admit you were right.
Thank you.
But then I started looking up more in the pictures, and then I realized that actually this solenoid was meant for the original starter of the 250, which doesn't have a solenoid on the starter itself. But then he didn't have the original solenoid, he didn't have the original starter on this car. He had a starter with a solenoid on it. So what they did here is basically they connected the battery wire with the starter wire, and then they used this as a cranking wire. So basically the ignition wire from the ignition switch is this one, which was clicking this solenoid, and this solenoid was then connecting this wire to the battery wire, and this wire was going down to the starter to actually actuate the other solenoid that was on the starter. So the car was using two solenoids for one starter. So now I can figure out what to do here, but I think we're gonna just ignore this wire. He wants to keep the solenoid here, so we're just gonna keep it here. We're gonna connect all the wires to the same terminal, so this solenoid is not gonna function, it's gonna be just as a decoration. And then we're gonna extend this wire to go down to the starter, because now he has a high torque starter down there, which it has its own solenoid, so it doesn't make sense to have two solenoids. We're gonna have this one just as a decoration here. Seamless enough?
My brain hurts.
Are you done with your ground strap?
No, I'm not. I'm angry.
Are you ready for the next
It's a very simple job. I've got my nice new ground strap here. Now I've just undone the bolt off the wiper motor bracket where it's supposed to fit under. Now, because the motor bracket was under a little bit of stress, now I can't feed the bolt back in with the ground strap on, so...
I know. Stress kills.
Time for beer, I think.
Yeah, stress kills you.
Yeah.
You can get stressed.
Yeah.
Okay, in the meantime, I'm done here with my little task. So what we've done here, it's dark here. You need a light.
I can get you a light.
Come on, faster,
I'll
because
get it for you,
it's
don't
making
worry.
your video very long.
Yes, chef.
Okay. So, is that okay? No. That might be better. Okay, so we have our battery wire here, goes to the terminal of the solenoid. Out of the same terminal, which doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, we have the starter wire going down to the starter, and along with it we pulled out a white with a red tracer wire from the old harness, and we connected it to this one. So these two wires are going down now to the starter. They're not connected, but they're going down. And these two wires go directly to the terminal. Then out of the same terminal we have the fuse holder, and after the fuse we have the brown, the other brown, and the brown with red. So that should complete this task here. So this solenoid is used just as a terminal, nothing else. Go get the beer.
See, if you own any Triumph sports car, this is kind of the position that you, See, now I'm going to edit this together.
Good thing you don't know how to edit.
Yeah, good thing I don't know how to edit. Otherwise, I'd multiply edit this in. Anyway, that is the position you need to assume to work under the dash. And he's got a nice pillow there. He's got a nice cushion. So I've accommodated him pretty well, I think. So,
Yeah.
but it's still a pain in the butt to.
Look like the movie you gave me, but
And it's hard to drink beer in that position, right? Unless I give you a straw.
a funnel maybe.
All right. All right, we're making progress on the wiring. I think we've pretty much got everything under the dash wired up. We're actually just hooking up the dip switch at the moment to test the headlights. So Lynn's got some funky wiring going on over here that kind of scares me a little bit. But after the dip switch is hooked up, we can actually test the headlights. We have the fuse box hooked up temporarily. So we'll see how things go. We don't want to let any smoke out.
Yeah.
Hey?
Test it again.
Hey.
Ooh. There's sound cool. So, are the lights coming on?
Well, we got headlights on.
Always.
Always. Apparently the switch is not turning them off. So try the other stock, the smaller stock. That's low and high, right? Work.
Yeah. Why do you have permanent power there then put them?
I don't know, but they look good. Is that low or high beam?
That's high.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we found something interesting, and so the left hand, hit the left hand. So the left hand is our lighting control switch, and the right hand is our signal left and right, which is kind of strange. So I've never driven this car, so I wouldn't have caught that previously. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. I don't think it's supposed to be that way. We don't think it's supposed to be that
I
way.
think just the switches need to be.
So I think we'll flip the switches and get them on the proper side, because it's going to be very weird to drive it that way.
Yeah. What about the canceling? The signal canceling? Will it work on this side? I don't know how it works.
I don't know, but I set the cancel up in the column originally to the left-hand side, like I would normally set it up with the. So anyway, we'll figure something out.
We need for it.
All right, we just got the Lucas driving lights hooked up, and we're just checking to see how many amps they draw, so we can hook up our circuit properly.
It's about 5 amps
5 amps for one light or both lights?
for one.
For one light. Okay, I've drawn up a schematic, but I'm going to let Ellen go through it and describe to you. Oh, he's got to get his glass. Oh no,
I
got his
got
glasses.
them.
Okay.
So we're gonna add 3 relays. David wants to add a relay for the headlights, for the regular headlights, because they normally don't run through a relay. So the wire that goes from the switch to the dip switch is blue. So we're gonna interrupt this blue wire, and we're gonna use this wire that comes from the switch. We're gonna use it only as a trigger to this relay, and then we're gonna take power from. There's a black, actually brown with white wire under the dash. That is part of that wire that comes from the solenoid directly. So we're gonna take power from there. We're gonna run it to a fuse box with 3 fuses. And for this circuit, we're gonna use fuse number 1 with yellow wire. Is gonna go to the relay, the switched part of the relay here. And once there's power on this side from the switch for the headlights, now power is gonna transfer here to this terminal of the relay, and it's going to go to the headlights. Actually, it's going to go to the dip switch first and then to the headlights. Right. So that's for the headlights.
Fan.
Then a second relay is going to be added for the fan. It's going to take power from the same fuse box here with a different fuse, and the live is going to go to the switched part of the relay, and we're going to have a branch here with a switch on. So when we turn the switch on, it's going to power up this trigger of the relay. The other side is grounded, so now we're going to have power going to the fan, and the fan is going to be grounded on its other side.
Yeah, and I'm going to have a manual switch on the fan. I'm not doing this on a thermostat. It's just going to be simple on and off switch if I need it.
Yeah. And the same here for the running lights.
Driving lights?
Yeah, driving lights, okay.
Yeah.
That's gonna be from number 3 fuse here, going the same way as the fan. It's gonna have, on the switched part of the relay here, it's gonna have power permanently. When we flip this switch on, it's gonna give power to the trigger of the relay, which is grounded on the other side. And now we're gonna have power going to the relays, to the driving lights, which are gonna be grounded to on the other side.
Right, so we made up a little loom here for the front with all the branches. We're gonna run this back through the firewall grommet. And then we've got our fuse box here that we're gonna use underneath the dash somewhere. And we've got our 3 relays over here that we're going to put under the dash somewhere, hidden as well. Hidden but accessible, let's say, right?
Yeah.
All right. See, if nothing else, I'm a good beer assistant. Right?
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Beer and wiring, it goes perfectly together. Right?
Ice.
Yeah, it's an icy glass. So just past 6 p.m. and we're still at it. So we've got 2 relays in the center here, and the center relays are going to run the driving lights and the fan. And then we've got the other relay on the passenger side, or sorry, the driver's side footwell. That's going to run the headlights. And we also have the fuse block up there as well, which you're not going to be able to see from here. So we're going to have 3 switches here in the center console. One for the fan, one for the driving lights, and then we just got a USB port that we're going to have for our cell phone or our GPS. So just thought I'd give you a quick look at that.
That's factory.
Yeah, factory. All right, so we're just checking our individual circuits here. So flip the fan on, and he's going to check the amp draw on this circuit to see what we need as far as the fuse box is concerned. We're 6 amps, 5.9.
We're going to put a 10 amp on this one.
So we'll put a 10 amps fuse in that circuit in the fuse box, and then we're going to do, the next one will be for the driving lights, which are on based on the fact I can see them shining off the ceiling because they are on the floor. Yeah. So we're going to measure the amperage draw for that, and I think it should be around 12 total, right? A little bit lower, 9.
Maybe because our battery is running low.
Maybe. Because we measured those individually at about 6, I think, wasn't it?
No, 5.
Was it 5?
5, yeah.
Okay, so we're at 8.6 right now.
But the battery is a little bit low, that's why. So we're going to put the 15 amp here.
Yeah. Okay.
For the driving lights, we're going to put 15 amp. And then for the headlights, I'm going to have to do separately here. Now we're going to have to move a fuse.
We blew a fuse when we were testing the fan. I think we only had a 5 amp fuse in for the fan. So anyway, we'll come back. Now the high beams are on. We're going to check the amp draw now for the high beams. And you probably can't see that, but we're at 10.5.
So we're going to put 15 here.
And we'll put a 15 amp fuse in that circuit. All right, just coming up to 20 to 7. So we've been at it for a little while. I think we started around 11. We took a little bit of a break for lunch, but not too long a break. Anyway, we got quite a bit accomplished today, I would say. So we got a good start to it. So thanks to Alin for helping me. That's something I'm not overly good at. So I'm glad that he's here to help me. So we've got our wiring diagram here to follow for the future. We'll clean that up a little bit and probably laminate it. And anyway, we'll finish probably one more session to get the rest of the wiring hooked up. There's some things I can do myself before we get to that point. Other than that, we'll pick it up in the next session and hook the rest of the fuse box up, etc., etc. And maybe by that time I'll have the rear harness hooked up to the front and all the other connections. So
the fuse box, the relays, and
the
overdrive.
I did get my new relay for the overdrive. We still have to run the overdrive harness, so we've got that somewhere standing by. So we'll do that in the next session, and then we'll just basically clean everything up. Do probably a little zip tying here and there. Other than that, it looks good. We got a good start today, and thanks very much.
You're welcome.
We will see you again. Thanks for watching, guys. I know it's a little dark out, but it's officially on the road. Last time was unofficial. Last time was the trip to the gas station where I didn't get any gas. But now it's official. Fender's back on. Ooh, look at those lights. Ooh, nice. Ooh, Jesus. Wow. Holy jumpins'. No wonder people are flashing you. That looks good. All right. Okay. Have a good night. Safe drive home.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, nice lights at the back. Hope it starts. Oh yeah, no problem.